What if I told you that for 1695 days, this man simply couldn't lose? This is the story of the greatest table tennis player of all time, at his absolute peak. When we watch Ma Long today, calm, dominant, almost untouchable, it's easy to forget the struggles, the setbacks, because before the greatness, there was pain. At the start of 2012, Ma Long was the world number one and had been for more than 2 years. On paper, he was the best in the world, but he had never proved it on the biggest stage. In both 2009 and 2011 World Championships, he fell in the semi-final, both times against the more established Wang Hao. But now, the 2012 Olympics were coming, and Ma Long was ready to finally prove his greatness. Then, the unthinkable happened. In May 2012, China announced its squad for the London Olympics. And despite being world number one, Ma Long wasn't selected for the singles event. Instead, China picked the 2009 world champion Wang Hao and the 2011 world champion Zhang Yike. The best player in the world, rejected. If being number one in the world wasn't enough, what was? But Ma Long didn't give up. He took that pain and turned it into fuel. He made a promise to himself to become so great, so dominant, that no one would ever question him again. The summer passed, and then came the 2012 World Cup in Liverpool. In the group stage, Ma Long suffered a surprising loss to Zhuang Qiyuan, finishing second in the group. But that would be his last setback for a very long time. His redemption had begun. He crushed Michael Mays 4-0 in the quarterfinal. Then he faced fellow Chinese star Xu Xin in the semis. The result: 11-4, 11-4, 11-4, 11-8. Total domination. Even the best in China couldn't match him. In the final, Timo Boll tried, but failed. Another 4-0 win. Ma Long had silenced the critics. He could now perform when it mattered the most. And he would continue to prove that, again and again. After that, Ma Long kept dominating the world tour. But when the 2013 World Championships arrived, the momentum stopped. He beat Timo Boll 4-2 in the quarters, but again, in the semi-finals, Wang Hao stopped him. Another chance at the title, gone. Then came 2014, and Ma Long was more hungry than ever. At the World Team Championships, he was unstoppable. He didn't lose a single set, 24-0 over 8 matches. In the final, he crushed both Timo Boll and Dmitry Ocharov, the biggest European threats to China. Later that year came the 2014 World Cup. Many believed this would be Zhang Yike's final tournament at the top, that he would pass the torch to Ma Long. After all, Ma Long had a better record against him. Many even saw him as the better player overall, but Zhang Yike had something Ma Long still didn't: the titles. He was the big game player. The golden boy of Chinese table tennis. Same age as Ma Long, but always favored. Still, questions were growing. Zhang Yike's form had dipped. Injuries, discipline, focus, all under doubt. Ma Long was perfect leading up to the final. He hadn't lost a single set. Zhang Yike, on the other hand, struggled, scraping past Timo Boll 4-3 in the semis. And now, it was time. Two giants, rivals, in a big final for the first time. That match went down in history, one of the greatest ever played. It wasn't an Olympic final, but the stakes felt just as high. Both had everything to prove. In the end, it was Zhang Yike who edged it. 12-10 in the final game. Ma Long was heartbroken. And again, he had to wait. Fast forward to 2015, Ma Long's year. He dominated the world tour. At the World Cup in October, he didn't lose a single set from the quarterfinal onwards, averaging under 6 points lost per set. In the final, 4-0 victory over Fan Zhendong. But the real test was the 2015 World Championships in China. This was Ma Long's 5th try. He had never even reached a final before, and Zhang Yike was hunting for his 3rd straight title. But Ma Long was ready. He stormed through the early rounds, dropping just 2 games in 5 matches. In the semis, he destroyed Fan Shendong 4-1, and in the final, many expected a showdown with Chang Yaik, but he had been knocked out by Fang Bu in the semis, so it was Ma Long versus Fang Bu, 2 of the best forehands in the game, going head to head. In the end, Ma Long won 4-2, finally claiming the biggest title of his career. After nearly a decade at the top, this was the last piece missing. Now, there were no more doubts, but one final prize remained: Olympic gold. We jumped to the 2016 Olympics in Rio. China selected Ma Long and Chang Yaik for singles. Ma Long, the top seed, started nervously. In the round of 16 he was 2-0 down against Yong Sik, but came back to win 4-2. From there he found his rhythm. A 4-0 win over Quadri Aruna in the quarters, a 4-2 victory over Jun Misutani in the semis, and then in the final it was Chang Yaik again. But this time Ma Long didn't just win, he crushed him 4-0. It was the changing of the guard. The Chang Yaik era was over. The Ma Long era had officially begun. Finally, we arrive in April 2017. Ma Long was playing Yong Sang-un in the round of 32 at the Asian Championships. Just another routine match. Or so it seemed. But shockingly, Ma Long lost 3-1. Why is this so important? Because it was the first time in 1695 days, nearly 5 years, that Ma Long lost to a player outside of China. We all know what happened next. Ma Long would go on to win more, dominate more, inspire more. This loss wasn't the start of a decline, not even close, but it marked the end of a streak that began back in 2012. He had been told he was too inconsistent, that he couldn't be trusted, that he wasn't the Mr. 100%, so he became something else. The most complete, the most reliable, the most dominant. The greatest table tennis player of all time.